I never realized that there is this cult fan base of pharmacists, and pharmacists are so thin fucking skinned. All right, before we begin the show, let's thank our sponsors. First and foremost, our title sponsor, Once Upon a Coconut, all natural, non-GMO coconut water with natural electrolytes and no added sugar. You can choose from pure blueberry, pineapple, watermelon, sparkling energy, and chocolate flavors with Once Upon a Coconut. Stay hydrated and refreshed. And if you're wondering why it tastes so darn good, it's due to a combination of factors, including the freshness and sweetness of young coconut water, the lack of additives, and the natural electrolytes present. And the best part about it, Once Upon a Coconut, 10% of profits go to charity that benefit our communities, including the Down Syndrome Foundation, Breast Cancer Foundation, Leukemia Society. Good things, good people, great product. So you can grab it at some Sprouts, you can grab it on Amazon, you can go online to find a store near you or purchase it right there off of their website, onceuponacoconut.com. It is delish. Big thanks to Inspect All Pest Services, our buddy Nick and the crew over at Inspect All Pest Services, providing the highest quality termite, pest, and wildlife control. That's not all they do. Inspect All can take care of your insulation, pressure washing, gutter maintenance, and other home services in Metro Atlanta and the surrounding areas. Remember, seasonal, you get different bugs and critters all around your house, so you want to go with the best in the business, and that would be one of our fine sponsors from day one, InspectAllServices.com. It's the Mad Dog, Manny Aurora, with the Aurora Law Firm, best darn defense attorney in the world, litigating all over the United States, based out of Georgia. We're talking criminal defense, white-collar crime, DUI, drug offenses, appeals, and more. And you can always get your legal questions answered by the Mad Dog, Manny Aurora, by getting those to me. And when he pops up on a show, you get your questions answered. So go to thebaileyshow.com and we'll get those questions to the Mad Dog. The Aurora Law Firm.com. He is the best in the business when it comes to therapists. There's no doubt about that. I use them, and so should you. We're talking about Dr. David Markwell with Ridgeline Counseling. He's got 10 therapists in-house, 3 different locations there in Georgia, one across from Sprayberry High School in Sandy Plains in East Cobb, Marietta near the Square in McKaysville, just outside of Blue Ridge. But if you're not in Georgia and you need to talk to the good doctor, then you can go online and get virtual sessions. Ridgeline Counseling at gmail.com if you'd like to email him directly, or go online to markwelltherapy.com. There is no better time to check if your insurance is any good. That's why FBC Insurance is waiting for you to reach out. You can call them at 888-308-1841 or email them info@fbcinsuranceservices.com. I just switched up my car insurance because I got a better deal at FBC Insurance. They were the people to find it. Perfect for new homeowners, especially if you're trying to reshop those current insurance policies. 5-star service, multi-policy, bundled discounts, and they're going to shop every carrier out there to find the best insurance for your house, flood, storm season, auto, motorcycle, boat, recreational vehicle, or just a personal policy. 888-308-1841 or go online, FBCInsuranceServices.com. Another one of our great sponsors in storm season. You have to talk to the good people at Alternate Power Solutions of Georgia. Family owned and operated. They are a Generac generator dealer, founded in 2012. So storm season, power goes out. Who knows when it's coming back on? Don't be that guy or girl that does not have a backup plan and having power for whatever it be, especially medical devices, fans, air conditioning, so on and so forth. Offering sales, service, installation, and repair of automatic home standby and portable generators, every single one of you. When you become a customer at Alternate Power Solutions of Georgia, you get an upgraded warranty, free monitoring, and warranty repair. A+ rating with a BB&B, and you pay nothing until the job is complete. Call or request a free home assessment and go to their website, poweringgeorgia.com, or buzz them at 770-853-7571. Use the discount code Bailey, my last name, and get $500 off your entire installation. All right? Servicing Georgia and Tennessee. Again, another great sponsor of the BS podcast that is going to come to your aid here during storm season. And I'm talking about Cliff Bratcher and Jayco Contracting. This one hits home for me because I needed advice from Cliff and Jayco Contracting when my mother got a hole in her roof. Now, Jayco Contracting helping the good folks out in Georgia. And if you're in Georgia, you call him this storm season just to know that you're going to be taken care of when that tree falls through your roof or your shingles come off or a hole somehow appears. works, right? They are a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning, licensed and insured roofing and gutter specialists covering all of Georgia. Keep in mind, if you've not gone through this process, Cliff and Jayco Contracting are going to take care of it from start to finish. That means dealing with the insurance companies. That can be a headache and a negotiation, and they're the best to do it. Commercial and residential satisfaction guaranteed. JaycoContracting.com, or 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You give Cliff Bratcher a call at 770-316-3876. Alive Ozone Therapy Spa in Altamont Springs, Florida. This is mine and my wife's wellness spa. If you have an autoimmune, cancer, HIV, just simple biohacking, long COVID, the answer is yes to just about anything that's going on in your body. Most of the time it starts with inflammation, and ozone therapy, it decreases inflammation. So ozone therapy, we are the first and only to do it in Central Florida. That is Alive Ozone Therapy Spa. We also offer red light therapy, halo therapy, pressotherapy, PMF grounding mat, as well as naturally in-house made ozone infused products like the magnesium butter that many of you absolutely love. Ozone therapy, what is it? Quickly, it repairs and rejuvenates your cells to the mitochondrial level by using activated oxygen. Simple as that. No side effects. That's all there is to it. It's a 30-minute session, and you actually burn up to 600 calories when you're in the Hocket sauna. We do it the most non-invasive way. So whether you're in the area or you want to travel, book an appointment, AliveOzoneTherapySpa.com. All the products you can get there as well. And remember, for you two peers, use the discount code BS10 to take that off those online products. If you want to be a sponsor of the show, reach out to me via thebaileyshow.com. And if you are a listener of this podcast and you need any of our great sponsors, please reach out to them. Now, let's begin.
What do we want to talk about?
To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Welcome to the Bailey Show podcast. A guy show women love to listen to.
Intellectually immature nonsense.
That's BS.
That's BS.
That's BS. That's BS.
Okay, then, let's do it.
Yeah, there it is. Episode 377 of the BS Podcast. Thanks for being here, all on the BPX, Bailey Podcast Exchange. My name's Jason Bailey right there. That is the bald badger, Benjamin.
Right here on the BS. How you doing, Bailey?
Good, man. There's the Fox 2X's. Always looks very confused whenever I speak. Not sure quite understand why, but there she is, Melissa Fox. How are you?
I'm good. My brain is translating back and forth what you say into Spanish and then back into English. So that's why I look confused.
I believe that, actually. Every time I open this show and I'm looking at you, you look confused when I say certain things and certain words. And I'm only assuming is because you're still new to the show, but this has been around like for a minute. So there's things that are just kind of already in motion. You know what I mean? So is that what confused you? Like, I'm assuming when I said freebie, that confused you?
No, I just every once in a while realize where I am, and there it is. Oh my God, I'm doing the Bailey Show. Shit.
Based on your outfit, I assume you thought you were on Kids Incorporated today.
Yes. Yay.
That's funny.
That's all.
Okay, so it's nothing to do with what I'm saying. It's just sometimes you get confused where you are.
Right. It's sort of like you wake up and you're like, where am I? And then you realize it's like that. Yeah.
You just wake up mid-sentence.
Yeah, during the day and often, correct?
Yeah. Occasionally I drift and then I drift back.
Okay. And what is that like?
Huh?
That answers my question.
Yeah, about like that.
Yeah, about like that. Thank you. So what do you guys think? Sure, it went. I buzzed it off.
I think it looks good.
Got all the hair
Nice.
taken out. Yeah.
We're asking the bald guy what he thinks about your new haircut, so I'm a little bitter.
So you know what? I'm always perplexed when I do this. You know, I like having no hair, right? I like shaving it real short. Rach doesn't care one way or the other. Women in general, I think, like guys with hair. You know, they like when the guy does their hair, that kind of thing. Well, it's not a shot to you. I'm just saying they like a dude with hair. I used to have this friend, this couple that would come over to the house, and he was bald, and he had no choice, right? And he looked fine. You know, he couldn't. You know, it was his time was done with his head. And he made a comment to me, and very rarely do people make comments to me that I remember for a very long time, unless it's like one of those things where I need to tell you something, you know. And that was not this conversation. It was just in conversation. And he said to me, he goes, because I think at the time I was like, yeah, I'm buzzing my hair off, man. I'm just buzzing my hair off. He goes, you will not do that. I said, why not? I would give anything to have hair, anything to have hair. And you're just going to buzz it off when you have a full head of hair. And I'm just like, I feel bad now when I buzz my hair. I still remember that conversation because he couldn't grow his hair. You know, it's like talking to a guy without legs bitching about your, you know, walking somewhere, you know.
I'll give you perspective. So this is from a guy that I think I look really good bald. I've got a good shaped head. My parents helped me as a child. It's not flat or coney. I got a good shaped head for being bald. I miss the option. That's what I miss. I don't mind being bald. I think I look good bald. It's kind of a signature move. But I miss going, you know what? I think I'm not going to shave my head for a year and see what kind of Euro trash thing I can come up with here.
You were born to be bald. If you want my advice.
Born to be bald. Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah. I don't think you would look as good as you look now with hair. Does that make sense?
More about my eyes?
I feel like you'd have a comb over.
Your stare goes right through me. Gives me a Woodrow Wilson every single time. No, but you know, like you're that guy, right? You're that, like, when I first met you, okay, I looked at you from a distance and I said, this guy is a badass. He's a rocker, dude. I was like, I don't even know if I want to go talk to him. I think he's going to beat me up. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go try to have a conversation with this guy. You looked tough. And then when you meet Ben, he's the biggest softy in the world, right? He's the nicest guy. Talk to you till whenever. He's not the guy, but he's tattooed up, big giant man, bald head, beard. You're that guy. You look like.
You think the earrings, though? Don't you think the earrings barely really pull the whole outfit together? You know what I mean?
He's like a pirate.
Yeah.
He's like a pirate.
When I shave my beard, it's a whole different thing. I look like a human thumb. It's all bad. I got to keep the facial hair.
Yeah, and most people do when they're bald. The facial hair really makes a difference.
Somebody's calling you. Who is it?
I was my only friend, Lenore, and I immediately hung up on her. So that should be fun.
Oh, nice. So going back, let me tell you about this hair thing. So I go in. I have a certain place that I go to for my stylist. Right, I have to go to this place. I've always been very particular. I'm kind of a snob about getting my hair done. I do not mind spending the money. So I make an appointment to go to Great Clips. And I
at $25, well spent, my friend.
25.
Well, that's with a tip.
17 with the tip.
No, and I had a coupon for $7.95.
Cheap bastards.
Yep.
Tiger cuts.
And I go in there and, you know, it's always a random person, you know, which drives me insane. I like to have one person, but that's not happening at Great Clips. I usually go to the one in Orange City. They're always very, very good. But in this case, with this dude, I went to the one in Deltona, which I have not had good luck, you know, with the times I've been there. So I go in, there's the three ladies. I have the app. I check in online. I go, my name's on the screen, Jason B. I'm first. There's nobody there. This older woman that you can tell is a smoker. She comes up and says, "Are you Jason?" I said, "Yeah." "Welcome to Great Clips. Come on back." I said, "Okay, great." And we sit down. There's like a handful of jobs that you don't want to be taken care of from a smoker. A massage therapist is one, and your hairdresser, your barber is two, right? Because you just have to sit there in their smoke.
Yep.
Right? So she's talking to me, and she had to have originally been from up north because of the way she was talking. And she's Hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to, what do you want to do? What you did last time with the 4 and the 2 and the, up top? I said, no, I want you to shave it off. She just would not stop talking. She asked me a question, which just drives me nuts when somebody asks a question and they don't let you answer. So she asks me a question and she just keeps talking. So I finally, and I do this often, just to my wife too. I'm like, stop. I tell them, I literally stop. I told her, stop. Let me answer your question so you know exactly.
Let me finish.
I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So I said, stop and let me answer the question. So I explained to her what I want. I don't think she got it. She didn't get it yet. You want a 1 or a 1.5 and a 2 or a 4? You want me to use the scissors? Or do you want me to use the razor? What do you want me to do with this hair thing? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I did this with a guy named Bob the other week. I'm going to do it. And I'm like, I don't know Bob, and I don't know what you did. I'll pull up a picture. So I Google short haircuts and I hit images. And the first picture that comes up is Brad Pitt with a short haircut.
I was just about to say, you pulled up a picture of Brad Pitt, didn't you?
It was Google.
Look like this guy.
Yeah, right. I was like, do everything. Face, bank account, success, everything. If you could do that at Great Clips, you're the man. This is what I want. Oh, I can do that. That's really easy. We'll start with a 5 and then we'll go down for 4. And then I think we'll probably end up with a 3. Great. Anyway, I'm at Great Clips. I've got the smoker lady taking care of me. She's all wrinkled up, looking like the crypt keeper, talking to me throughout the entire, high valued haircut. Oh, this is going to come out great. What do you do? What's going on? You got to go to work tomorrow. And the more she talks, the more I can smell whatever alcohol she has been drinking, either that day or the night before. It was pouring out of her mouth and her pores. I was like,
so stale alcohol and cigarette remnants. This sounds delightful.
Sweet woman, and did a pretty decent job, I think.
It looks good.
Did my eyebrows without even me asking, which I've never had happen before. So
I do that. I do that once a week.
So anyway, that was pretty nice. But anyway,
let me tell you my my hairdresser story. When I was in high school, I lived out the back gate of the Jacksonville Air Force Base, and it was a town called Gravel Ridge where my high school was. And there was one barbershop, and it was Red's. It was Red's Barbershop, Taxidermy, and Tax Preparation. And so you walk in, and there was a desk to your left covered in papers where he did his tax prep. There was 3 barber chairs with Flowbees. Remember Flowbees?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep. You had real Flowbees there. And then there was like a partition wall with a bunch of dead stuff on the other side of it. He was awesome. I miss Red. God bless him.
I used to do a bit called Marco Flowbee, and my buddy owned a box truck for advertisements in Tampa, and the box truck was transparent, and then the ads would go up and go down, but if they were down, you could see in the truck. And I put my 2 interns in there. I think it was Lactate and Ringwald, and they both would be blindfolded, and they had Flowbees, and they would do Marco Flowbee and whoever cut off the most hair within a matter of time. And it was live. I had it just had a mic in the box truck. Like I think maybe I was in there with a microphone walking around, and they're going, Marco Flowbee, and you just hear the Flowbee, and then you get caught. Both came out, their hair was all jacked up. I mean, this is the day and age of, Fox, what I'm talking about, the day and age of good intern bits, which don't exist so much anymore.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, you remember those days.
I lost an intern at Casadega once over the weekend. I had an intern that got arrested, and people that called in, including bounty hunters and such, that were willing to get them out of the jail that they never really were in.
Yeah. What was it? Crumpet. He got arrested on my bachelor party. Had to go bail him out of jail. And his fiance, I got back to my condo, and she was in bed with my fiance, and she had peed it. It was such a wow.
Had the best voicemail, like, Melissa, pick up the phone. I was like, in the days after you couldn't hear the voice message when they were calling.
I was like, Emilio. Emilio.
Right. Pick up the phone. Evidently, my girlfriend had a no trespass warrant. Evidently, I violated it. And then these people bought it and they called in, and this, what do you call it? The guy was willing to get the warrant taken care of and bail
I
him
forgot
out.
we were talking about.
Bailey.
So did she. I got it.
No, I actually did, but I remembered that Bailey was talking about something about a haircut.
Yeah, it was. I forget, like in the time of the radio days where the interns, they just didn't understand it was for entertainment purposes, and I think that the turning point for me was when I was in Atlanta. We had an intern, and this black guy that came in, nice guy. I didn't get to know him well. He quit very quickly. And he came in and I put him on the mic, which everybody thought was weird. I'm like, of course, that's the best. You put somebody that's never been on a mic. I mean, that's the best stuff. And that's how you learn. And so put him on a mic. And I said that he smelled like dirty white cotton panties. It was a joke, right? It was a joke because I had to explain the story of why I said that. About a girl that I dated years ago that lived in a trailer park. And I remember it had this smell and she wore dirty white cotton. Anyway, so it was like this whole bit that I did. And he took it so personally, not understanding that radio is business. It's not personal. Like it's a bit, I mean, there's truth to just about everything, but it's not real. It's like when you watch wrestling, those guys in the ring don't hate each other. And most of the time, and I always subscribe to that in the radio business, is that you create this conflict and you put people in awkward situations and somebody has to play the heel. I've always been good at playing the heel, so much so that people believe that I'm this bad guy. The problem in radio is you don't have enough people that know how to play the heel because radio people are so thin-skinned and so sensitive that they just have to have everybody like them. And I, of course you want people to like you because you want them to listen to you, but there's also something to be said about good entertainment, and you have to have Darth and Luke, right? So that's kind of always been my blueprint. It's worked most of the time, almost too well, right? So like, for example, you got a message from an old listener of mine, right? Ben? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Tara, who, that totally flipped on me. And because I said that, just be careful, you're being used. And she took that. I don't know how she took that and whatever. And then she gets mad and she leaves. And that's fine. And I wish her nothing but the best. I don't hate her. I don't know her well. If you're a listener of mine, I'll do anything I can for you, as I've proven time and time again. If you're not, you're out of sight, you're out of mind. But she had messaged Ben kind of trashing me, which
I think she was looking out for me in a strange way.
Be around this business a little bit longer and you'll know exactly what they do. So even if it was probably even a little poked and prodded, if I were to guess. So reaches out to Ben because of a conversation that we had about his dating life and how he hadn't had sex. And I'm pushing his buttons. I'm pushing the buttons. And Ben's even learning that about me too, is that it's not personal. It's for the conversation. I'm not going to sit here and do a show, whether it's a podcast form, a radio show, a TV show, or whatever, and it just be this serious two dudes saying, oh, I really hope you find the person that you love. I think that's going to be great. Oh, is there anything I could do to help you do that? I'm going to play the heel and I'm going to poke and prod to get as much.
Or try to buy me a prostitute.
Or Bailey, did you just say that Ben hasn't gotten any booty in quite some time?
You were on that episode. You were on that episode, Melissa.
Oh, that's right. We trashed him for not getting any ass in a while, and he played it like a good man should. That's radio, yeah?
Yeah, well, that's my point, is that
exactly. So stupid bitch. Can't keep up.
It's a bit, like the point, like not being around whatever for everything is a work. In the entertainment business, everything is a work. When you see these people on social media, these influencers, and you watch these videos, most of them are staged.
Right.
They're staged, and you're believing. Do you really think that the guy that's helping out the homeless kid or the disabled kid, and he walks up and he just happens to have his favorite hockey jersey and tickets to a hockey game of his favorite team and the meet and greet with his favorite player, and that just happened? It just miraculously happened. You know, do you think the streamers that are busting into each other's houses and throwing horrible punches and having horrible fights, you think that's real? Of course it's not real. It's fake. It's a work. Everything is a work.
But Bailey, you know that people believe everything they hear on whether social media, especially talk radio. I would assimilate. I would take somebody else's scenario, make it my own, just as you probably did, then meet some Joe on the street who would be like, oh my God, I am so sorry that happened to you. Is there anything? And you'd be like, wow, you're an asshole and an idiot all at once, aren't you? I mean, that was just radio. It's a bit.
Yeah.
Catch on, get there faster.
It's all a bit. It's
life is a bit, man.
It's frustrating. I've had a rough week.
I know you have. I'm sorry.
It has been a week, and you guys, Ben does, but Melissa, you only know the half of it. So let's. I'll save the worst for last. I got diagnosed with diverticulitis, which sucks, or as it's called in the medical world, diverticulitis, which is a condition where small pouches in the lining of the colon, which is called diverticula, become inflamed or infected. It then can cause abdominal pain. I'm reading this, by the way. I don't know this off the top of my head. It can cause abdominal pain, like a lot of it, fever, which it did, and other uncomfortable symptoms. Diverticulitis is a complication of diverticulitis, a condition where these pouches are present in the colon wall. Anyway,
this is the nasty bug you thought you had. Turns out you had a spongy colon.
So I got hit with the nasty bug, and I got rid of that pretty quick. I know I'm going to drop the Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, and you're going to go, oh, you're just for the cheap pop. It did. It helped me get through whatever I had very quickly. And I was good for a couple days doing ozone therapy. And then out of nowhere, I started feeling pain. And okay, so if you're looking at me right now, and let's just say you're looking at my penis, like face on, okay?
As you would.
It's to the north side above my penis. Okay, it's above over of my penis.
So like if you were fully erect, or like if you're wang dangling?
Glandular.
No, just the area. So it's like right under my fupa, right? It's to the wall.
Gotcha.
And it felt like, there was a little midget man stabbing, trying to get out of my gut, and to the point where I couldn't walk uprights. Like I was bent over. I was like, damn, this hurts. And I've had this before, and it always scared me. And I always thought it was like testicular cancer or something, because you kind of feel it in your butthole and you kind of feel it in your balls. So can we put that on mute, maybe?
What was that?
You have a mute option on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm like, okay, what is this? So I go get ozone therapy, and it goes away. And I'm like, good. Whatever it was, it's out of me. I tested high for bacteria. Like when you go into the spa, Rachel's she's done it to you, Ben. You take out your phone. There's a app that we use, and it scans the biomarkers in your face, and it can give you like where you're at with bacteria and mold and heavy metals and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy how well it works.
Mine said I was pregnant. Caught that quick.
I was off the charts for parasites. She goes, and I was in a lot of pain. She goes, I want you to go home and just relax. I said, okay, I'm going to go and relax. It's very difficult for me just to, like, in the middle of the day, lay down. There's something that I cannot do. So she forced me to do it. I lay down, and I'm like in and out of sleep. Every like 30, 45 minutes, I'd wake up and I'm sweating like a lot. Something's trying to get out of my body. It got to the point where I was like, I got to go to see a doctor. I went to the Advent Health Urgent Care. Really nice guy, young guy. I don't think I got the doctor. I think I got the doctor's friend. I didn't get to that level.
Physician's assistant.
Yeah. Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
whatever.
PA.
Yeah, whatever it was. He wasn't the guy, but he was friends with the guy. I know that. And he comes in, young guy, probably in his late 20s, early 30s. And he says, all right, well, let's check you out. So he looks at my junk, which is always awkward, no matter what, right? Let me ask you this, Ben. Who would you rather have, a guy doctor or a girl doctor look at your junk when you're getting checked out?
So I like to have both. That way I never know which one's working. When I used to have to get my physicals for high school sports, it was always the young woman, and they had to have a witness. They couldn't do it alone because it's young teenage boys, and it was always some other hot chick, and that was doubly bad. Probably an old man. I got to go with old man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Melissa, when you get your hoo-hoo checked out, you go to the OB gym. Would you rather have a female or a male hoo-hoo checker?
It's always been a guy with a female there just to make sure that things don't go awry. It really never mattered to me, but it's always been a guy over the last 50 years. It's always, so I don't know any different. I don't think I'd trust a woman down there. I mean, other than,
But you're a lesbian. You would think.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want, I want to separate church and state. So.
Gotcha.
Nice.
That makes a lot of sense. All right.
What are you doing down there? I'm giving you an exam. No. That wasn't the plan.
So I agree. I think it's weird. You want the opposite. I mean, the guy thing to say is you want I want a hot chick to check out my junk.
You think so? Because I think you might get, risk the fact of getting a hard on or something. And I mean, she'd know that's working, but that's not really the plan.
Let me rephrase that. If fellas are bullshitting, they're having some beers and they're talking, and this question were to come up, no doubt that's what a guy would say. Yeah. But if you're being honest as a guy, I can't speak for being a gay guy, but for a straight guy, I think you want a dude, right? Mm-hmm. You want a medical dude. I mean, you don't want just like a dude like, hi. You want like a medical dude. Like, let me pull down this right here and let me check here. I'm going to put my hand, all medical stuff. I've had a good looking woman do that. I've had a good looking woman urologist, made me uncomfortable because she was good looking. She was very professional, very good at her job, but made me uncomfortable. I had a good looking doctor check my junk. I mean, lift it up and everything, made me uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So I think I'd rather have, like the guy said, I was like, cool, man, let's do this.
See, all business,
right? Business, not personal. Business, not personal. When you have the good looking girl, you have no choice, but your brain kind of goes personal. You're like, oh, am I cheating?
And so maybe a straight woman would want a female doctor, but again, I want to separate personal and professional.
I get it. What, Ben? You said something. I'm sorry.
Yeah, hope it's impressive.
Oh, me? No, God, no. Like, you got it.
That's what's going on in our head. I'm not asking for a
hope she thinks it's a good one. Yeah.
In my case, they better have good eyesight.
Oh, stop.
I've for years I've said that.
Not a shower, a grower. Gotcha.
Not even that.
Aren't you tall? I've seen your feet. Is that a myth? Let's see the distance between here and here.
Mm-hmm. It's a big myth. Absolutely big myth. So anyway, he checked my junk. He doesn't see any problems. That's good. And then he goes, we got to do another test. And he walks over to the other side of the room and he gets on a blue glove.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Moon River.
Yeah. And I know it's
dinner first.
I know he handled it very well. He says, I need you to bend over here. You're going to take a deep breath, breathe out. I want to tell you when. I don't know how you gay guys do it. I'm talking about the butt stuff, right? Everything else.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah. I don't know where you get pleasure in that at all. Maybe you guys do something special. Maybe you have knobbies that you put on your penis. I don't know.
There's this trick called milking the prostate. I learned about this in a movie. What was that movie? Road Trip.
Yeah, there's Road Trip.
Would you like to explain the process or just have us
I
guess?
do, it's a bit from the movie. Sean William Scott. He goes to do a donation at a sperm bank, and he asks for help facilitating the moment. And she said, "I'm going to help you. This is called milking the prostate." And
Yeah.
What was the Ryan Reynolds one, the Van whatever, where they took care
Van
of the
Wild?
bulldog?
That was a
Yeah,
dog.
Yeah, Van Wild.
Dog didn't get a prostate exam.
No, he had something. Still pent up frustration in the eclairs.
Like he checks my butthole and I'm good there. Right. So that's good. And my blood work, which I didn't do that long ago, my blood work showed good for prostate, so that scared me. I thought,
That's good.
That's like one of my biggest fears is to go to the doctor. Everything's fine. Beautiful day. Had breakfast, had a good sleep, kissed your wife goodbye, going to work, doing your thing, got just a regular checkup. You sit there halfway through that meeting. Doctor comes in and says, I've got bad news for you. You got 6 months left to live. That happens on a daily basis to people. That happens every single day in this world. And eventually it's going to happen to all of us, right? Unless we get hit by a car or truck, something like that. That always scares me. I've had friends die at my age that they shouldn't have died, because of prostate cancer or something like that. So those things terrify me, absolutely terrify me. Like, what do you think it is, Doc? And he says, he goes, well, he had a couple guesses. Like one was prostatitis or something. And then the other one was diverticulitis. And he goes, what I want you to do is go to the ER. I said, I'm not going to the ER. He says, why not? I said, it's too expensive. I said, stupid. And he goes, well, I can refer you to a urologist. I said, well, let's do that. Then I got to find one in my network and the whole shebang. So he refers me to a urologist. I call a special number with United Healthcare. They say they can get you in August. I'm like, it's absurd. It's just so ridiculously absurd. I hung up on the person and then I called back later because I was in so much pain. And I was like, you got to get me. They didn't even bother looking for a different location. Like, well, can you go to Apopka? I'm like, yeah, I can go to Apopka. So they sent me to one in Apopka 2 days later. I was like, oh, that's great. So I go in there. I don't remember when I lived in Orlando prior. Now I moved out 2013, right? So I've been gone for a minute. I don't remember Advent Health even being here. So Advent Health is fairly new to Central Florida, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That's about when they came in, was 2014.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They have completely taken over the medical world from coast to coast in the state of Florida. And they're owned and run by Seventh-day Adventists. Like this company, like they pray like before meetings and stuff. The hospitals. Now I'm talking about the hospitals. I'm not talking about the one-off doctors that work under Advent Health. They still have a lot to learn because they're still doing their own thing. But if you're in the hospital, the Advent Health hospital, you are top notch. Like you're the best at what you do. You're nice, you're professional, you're friendly, it's inviting. Like you want to go back. Like I hope that I get sick again. They're so nice at Advent Health.
They really are. I've spent a lot of time there and they tried to figure out whatever. Well, they wouldn't let me go until they figured it out. So I'm still there. No,
I hope I get sick again soon to go back. She was like, do you want, and I'll tell you what she said in a second, but afterwards she's like, do you want to schedule a follow-up? I'm like, yeah.
Bonus, right? They really are awesome. I mean, I got nothing but
the free lollipops is awesome.
Well, so I go to the Apopka Advent Health Hospital. I walk in and they have a gentleman playing the piano. Like you're at Nordstrom's or something, or Dillard's or whatever the stores are that have it. Like, this is fantastic. And then I go to the front desk and I say, hey, look, I'm how you doing? I need to go to the urologist. He says 210. He didn't look anything up. He just knew 210. I was like, wow, you've done that before, sir. He goes, I know my buildings. I know where everybody's at. I want you to have a great day and a blessed day or something like that. I was like, God, so nice. God, so nice. Go to the elevator. I hit 210. I go upstairs. I go see the urologist now. And I get the urologist friend. I don't get the real urologist at first. And she comes in and she does the little testy test and weighs me and stuff. And then she takes this scanner, this jelly, puts it on that area, and then scans my bladder and stuff. And she goes, well, you don't have kidney stones, so that's good. This is that. Then and I don't think it was the doctor still. I think this was the like friend below the doctor.
PA. I'm a PA.
She was the sweetest woman in the world. She comes in and she's like, pretty sure you got diverticulitis. I'm like, okay, cool. Then she goes, I'm going to prescribe you. I'm going to give you a shot. Or no, the guy urgent care gave me a shot. I don't know what he gave me a shot of, but some whatever. And then she gave me some pills and then some more pills, which I don't like taking a lot of pills. And they kind of worked for a couple days. And then I went in and got ozone therapy. That day after, I went into the spa and it's gone. I mean, I haven't been in pain since. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
So that's part of the week. That was kind of shitty part of the week. Then Rach gets a kidney stone. She gets them all the time. And I think hers are like boulders that she gets. Like these things are huge. And then the worst out of all of this happens. The worst out of everything that could possibly happen.
Yep.
We had to say goodbye to Mr. Milton and take him to the vet and have him. I can't say the words, but
you had him.
You had to say goodbye.
We had to
Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah, he had to say goodbye. And Mr. Milt's been with us for 14 years, and Rach and I talked about it on the Honey episode. I know.
Good on him. Good on him.
But it was it was kind of it was interesting. I guess would be the word. So, give you a little bit of backstory about Mr. Milt. Rach and I have been together for almost 14 years. When we met, she had just gotten Mr. Milton. He's a Chihuahua Terrier mix, brindle colored dog. And he was a little puppy. He hadn't even grown into his big old bat ears yet. And I had just gotten Allie from a shelter. And so when we met, we were inseparable. Rach and I were inseparable from day one. And so the dogs would be around each other. And they became thick as thieves, two peas in a pod. They were the bestest of friends. And those, they're puppies at that time. They're a year old. We eventually moved to Atlanta and have an amazing life in Atlanta, raising our children in a great place and so on and so forth. And those two were together. Max comes into our lives. Milton was not a fan of Max ever. Milton always very protective of Allie, but Milton was really Caleb's dog. Those two were very similar creatures, like the way they stare, the things that they do. But Milton was Caleb's boy. Kids get older, so on and so forth. We added dogs, blah, 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 blah. Milton gets just becoming an old man. We wake up, a couple days before we did this, not many days. It was like 2 days or a day. Milton had woken up in the middle of the night and vomited, and we knew he might have just been sick, but he started to show signs, and then we took him outside to go to the bathroom and he collapsed. He just fell.
Oh.
Not good. So that's a neurological thing as well, usually. Rach knew. She got home from work and she just knew. Like she just looked at Milt and said, call Caleb, get him over here now.
It's time.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So, I get a hold of Caleb and we'd been kind of bickering with Caleb. We hadn't talked to him in a couple minutes.
Yeah, I was curious how all this went down with him.
It's almost, the universe works in mysterious ways, I mean, unfortunately, things like this bring people together and, thank God. And this was the other interesting thing is Caleb, when I text him, I said, Caleb, we need you to come over as soon as possible. Milton's not doing well. No, I didn't even say that. I said, Caleb, I need you to come over as soon as possible. No, maybe I did throw in, I'm not sure. But his response wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought his response was going to be something like, why, or what do you want, or something like that. Cause he's angry with me. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I'm on my way. It was like he knew. He knew how bad it was. And he gets here, and that night they both stayed up with Milton and slept in the living room. And Rach had to go into the spa the next day. And I said, what do you want me to do? She goes, I want you to make an appointment for the vet. I said, okay, well, let's not panic. Let's just go to the vet, have them do some tests, and let's see where we're at. So we go to the vet in Deltona, really nice lady, Deltona veterinarian. It's right up the street from us. And we go in there and shakes him back, does some tests, not good. And, it's just kind of one of those things where it's your decision and it's that time. And if you feel it and, you don't want to live in pain and you want to do the right thing and all these types of things. I personally, I don't know if I could have pulled the trigger at that point, but Milton wasn't really my dog. That was Rach and Caleb's dog. They knew it was time and they made that decision right then and there. I was shocked. I was shocked, to be honest with you. So we're crying and, it's a rough room. And I'm trying to hold it together and be strong for everybody. And so, but I was smart. I said this in the Honey episode too. Before we got out of the car, Rach didn't see me do this, but I carry a big box of tissues in case I have sneezers. I put a bunch of tissues in my pocket because I knew there was going to be some tears.
Yeah. So you heroed it.
And we're in the room and everybody's crying. And I pull out my tissues because there's no tissues in the room. And I just pulled it out. I was like, yeah, it was good. I did good. So I go to the vet and I go back there and I said, we've made the decision and we're ready. They're like, okay. The next thing really surprised me. I'd never seen this before. And I've let go of 2 dogs and neither one of the vets had this. They take us to what is called a bereavement room and you walk in and I didn't know how to feel about this. You walk in, it's a larger room. It's dim. There's a carpet on the floor, nice carpet. There's a nice or decent, nice couch. But behind the couch, there are these like handmade pillows that say Rainbow Bridge and God bless you. And it's really like sad before you. I mean, you're already sad, but it makes you sadder.
Now it's a gift shop.
Before you get sad. It was just, and then you sit down on the couch and across the room, there's a table with a giant picture of a dog, like a golden retriever, looking over the ocean to the sunset. Like he's going to heaven. I mean, everything is very morbid in this room. Now I get it. It's a bereavement room. And you're probably listening right now going, dummy, that's what the room is. And they're trying to be, I just never been in one before. Like you go into a chapel at a hospital, they don't have a guy sitting on a beach looking over the water into the sunset. They don't have a pillow on the couch going, pearly gates.
No, they got a dead guy. They got a dead guy on a cross instead. I mean, it's a little different.
Well, you know what I mean.
Advent's got the guy looking at the beach.
Right.
No, I went into the chapel. The chapel's right across from my my urologist. So I was like, oh, let me pop in. And I walked in. It was like an open door. They didn't have any of that. It was actually like a multimedia room. They had a big TV and you could watch movies and all kinds of stuff. So
free internet. Gotcha.
They didn't have tissues in this room, which I thought was odd. They did have one thing that was really, really clever to have in a bereavement room at a veterinarian's office when we were in there waiting for, that final goodbye with Milt. Do you want to guess what they had in this room?
A potty pad.
No, not a potty pad. Good guess though. Fox?
Advertisements for the paw print things.
No. Good guess though. Good guess. A jar of Hershey Kisses.
Oh.
Why?
Chuck. Because it looks like dog poo.
No. That's another good guess. Why would they have that in there?
Because chocolate is soothing.
No. Dogs can't eat chocolate.
Oh, but you can't. Okay. All right.
No,
so you
well,
get to enjoy some
no.
chocolate.
That's kind of a myth. Dogs can eat up to a certain degree of chocolate.
No, dogs can't eat chocolate. So you give it to them, but they can have it now before they go. They can finally eat chocolate because they're about to go. That's why.
Did they actually tell you that, or did you get that? You just
He deduced it.
okay.
That's the obvious reason. They're not putting Hershey Kisses in there for us. That's the reason, because dogs can't eat chocolate. So they can finally have chocolate
I think you should go back and ask them if that's it or if it's comfort food for you.
No, it's not. I know that for a fact. Dogs cannot eat chocolate. That is a fact. You do not. They can eat it. You're not supposed to feed it to them. It's bad for them. I even think it could kill them.
I mean, a certain amount, yes. But yeah,
that's you guys totally ruined that bit. But okay, so Jesus Christ. So you got the chocolates in the room, and I thought that was very, very clever.
Yeah.
So we're sitting on the couch, and the vet comes in, and they've already got the catheter in his paw. And if you've been through the process, it's absolutely horrible. And then you've got to deal with the bill, and then you got to deal with, how you want it cremated, But here's another thing that I've never been asked before either. They asked me if I wanted to take him home.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never been asked that before.
Yeah.
I said, is that normal? Do people do that? And they said, yeah, some people want to take their pets home with them and bury them in their yard.
Yep.
In their yard.
Pet cemetery is a real thing.
Well, did you get it cremated with a little nice and pick out a nice little box and stuff with the placard?
So I chose cremation, and then you have two options of cremation. You can do the one for $260, but he's cremated with other dogs, and you just get ashes, and you don't know. I'm like, no.
Why does ash have a Marlboro butt in it?
Yeah, right, exactly. Or you pay the $460 some, and you have the private cremation. Then they come in with the box, and then you get to pick out the urn. And I'm looking through the different urns. There's like an urn. They're wooden boxes and stuff. And I said, Caleb, go ahead and pick out where you want Milt to live for the rest of his life. And I knew which one he was going to pick. He picked the urn, and I knew why, but I asked him anyway. I said, why did you pick that urn? And his response was what? What do you think?
It looked like a wrestling belt.
Yeah, the Undertaker. Yeah, the Undertaker's urn from back in the day. Yeah.
Aww.
I was like, I knew that was coming. Then you go to the cremation stuff, and again, trying to guess what people are thinking as I'm talking, is you're going, how do you know? You don't. I agree with you. You don't. They could have charged me an extra $200 because I guarantee the people that are doing this don't give a shit. They don't care.
They're pretty good. Bayfield, or which one is that the one? They own it. Whoever it is, they have the monopoly on it. But my Huskies, they asked me if I wanted them back, and I was like, you know what, Huskies, let them roam free. So I had the community thing with them, just let them go. I didn't get them back. But the Chihuahua, yeah, I got him in a box somewhere. I'm hiding him because I'm afraid he's going to come back and bite me.
No, Fox. I'm talking about you don't know if.
No, you don't know who you get.
Stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you don't know if it's you're getting what you're paying for is what
Indeed.
I'm saying.
I know.
But it made me feel better. For $200, it made me feel better. That's
peace of mind. Sure.
And that's the point. It made everybody feel better. So
what's the turnaround on that?
You know what? It's usually about 2 weeks. Yeah, it's about 2 weeks. So we got
about the same for people.
Got to wait for it to come back. So here's something that I'm going to ask you that just dawned on me. I'm 50 years old. I've never thought about this ever until I was sitting in this bereavement room getting ready to say goodbye forever to Mr. Milt. When people get sick and are close to their end days, we put them in a hospital, then we go to hospice and just let them wilt away. Let them make sure they're comfortable. They're hopefully not in a lot of pain, if any, and they just die, right? We don't euthanize people. I know some people try. Kevorkian, there's a place I think in Sweden that has the pod that does it, and then there was a hiccup with that. They're not doing it anymore. With dogs, we euthanize them. We don't let them just wilt away. We don't let them,
suffer.
Milton could have lived, he probably would still be with us today if we let him, if we didn't do that. So you're making the decision of taking that away. We think that he's in pain. He didn't say he was in pain. He didn't bark he was in pain. Well, I don't know. You know what I mean? We, with people, always hope when people are sick that a miracle is going to happen. And sometimes those miracles come through. By the grace of God, they come through. We never talk about miracles when it comes to dogs. We just take them to the vet and say, it's time. I can see it in his eyes. Go ahead, take him away. Isn't that weird? The difference, even though we love dogs just as much as people, and in a lot of cases, more than people, but we don't treat the end days the same. Isn't that odd?
I think it kind of depends on your faith base, because I know growing up in a very spiritual family, we've prayed over pets many times. I don't know that it's ever taken, but we've done it. We've tried, you know.
Yeah, but you didn't let my point is the process of a person's end days. You know, I mean, it could be months, if not years, they're sick and you're still treating that person. You're not doing that. So my dog gets cancer. They're like, okay, he's got 6 months, 9 months left. They put him out, you know, they put the needle in him.
Well, here's the thing. I did the exact opposite with 4 dogs that I should have put down and didn't. The dog, the Chihuahua with the tumor, who had the one leg up when, and eventually couldn't even walk. Should have put it down a long time. As soon as I found out I had a tumor. Husky, boop, brain went. Started walking around in circles, just walking around circles. Should have put him down. Pray for a miracle. Didn't happen. Got another one, started looking at her stomach, pretty much pulled part of the stomach out.
Oh.
Waited for too long. Finally put her down. You see what I'm saying? Had a dog, what do you call pit bull that got Cushing, kind of form of cancer.
Yeah.
Bloated. Waited for 2 years hoping it would go away. Again, if you love something and you wait and you think it's going to get better and it doesn't. And it's you. It's like he said, it's an emotional thing, Ben, where you put your emotions on it and you think this dog, it's going to get better. You want it to live out. And maybe I should have made those decisions like you did with Mr. Melton.
Well, I like with Allie, we dropped over $20K for when she had cancer.
Same here. We a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, we
pissed
dropped
in the wind.
with Ricky. I mean, it was a 2-year process. He had congestive heart failure. And
Cushing,
so,
basically.
yeah, right. So, and I had him on all kinds of pills. I even to the point was getting the pills that he needed to take were extremely expensive.
Almost $300 a month for ours. Yeah.
Yeah. But the exact same pills I could get at Costco
for humans.
For humans, it was like a 90-day supply for like $25. I just had to get a script for it.
Yeah, but it didn't taste like beef bouillon. So,
Yeah, and the tradnazone and things like that, the human port. I mean, it was, again, between, it was crazy. And you wanted the dog to do well. You couldn't put him away. And you could see him starting to get the water weight and all that.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. And you knew he was in there. His brain was still there, but you could see him slowing down. He could walk, but he was still there. You knew he was still there.
The water weight, the reason why their stomachs got big was because their heart wasn't pumping properly. Yep. So my vet would drain him, but it got to a point where she was like, I can't do it anymore. It's not healthy because it's taking the proteins out of his body. So I'm buying giant cans of chicken thinking that this is going to save him this special food.
Science diet. Yeah. We're on the kidney diet, all of that. Yeah. So you went the same run and I think maybe you learned you have to make the decision and you cannot base it on emotions because if you do, basically it's you that's living, not them. And it's a shame.
So it was
bad week, huh, Bailey? Bad week.
It was a bad week. Oh, I forgot to mention this with the diverticulitis. One of the pills that I am on, I'm about off of it. I'm not going to finish it, but one of the pills, she said that it was either the pill or the diverticulitis, one of the two. She says it could cause. I said, oh yeah, it's the pills, because I said, what are side effects from the pills? And she says, well, you can't drink on this pill. I said, that's fine. I don't drink much often. And she goes, and it also could cause retrograde ejaculation. Have you ever heard the term retrograde ejaculation, Ben? What do you think that is?
Only thing that comes to mind is like Mercury retrograde. Apparently now I'm gonna spooge when that happens to the moon.
What does that mean? Is it like a latent? Like you're gonna
Moon? What is that?
Well, because
Mercury retrograde.
Mars is in retrograde. What does
Yeah.
that? I don't even know what it means. But I guess Ben and I have heard the phrase. We have absolutely no idea what retrograde means.
It means
so that would be after the fact.
No, it means you ejaculate backwards, so it would go inside of you.
Oh, okay, it makes sense.
Oh, so you're saving your life force, like that movie.
And then you urinate it or doo-doo it out.
That's when you turn into the dog from Van Wilder.
Boom.
Yeah, that's she told me that, and I was like, oh, I'll give that a shot. That's kind of neat. I've never done that before. Give me those
Now
pills.
you know what she feels like.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. And she'll never know. She'll never know. I mean, like that could make me the new stud. If I'm told from the doctor after I got told I got diverticulitis that I have I could get retrograde ejaculation, which means it goes in me, not outside. Rachel would never. I'd be a beast. Like 3 hours, 4 hours in the bedroom. Never know I'm done.
Yeah, until your balls blow up like a balloon.
Yeah, well, sometimes you gotta no pain, no gain there.
Yes. Yeah, side effects.
Hey, I got a question for you. Has to do with the dogs. How did the rest of them handle this?
It's interesting you say that. At first, the first 12 hours, I don't think they knew what was going on. And then quickly, like real quick, things got odd. At night, when we go to bed, we have all the dogs with us. So, now Henry's with Bees because she's home. But so Jen sleeps at the top of the bed on top of Rachel's head. Mr. Milt would sleep between her legs. Fat sleeps between my legs. Tuna usually sleeps cuddled up to Rach. And then Henry, if he does sleep with us, he just kind of finds a spot. A lot of times he'll just stay on the floor. Tunes, who is kind of Allie reincarnated, Milton was very protective of Allie of Petunia, because she reminded him of Allie. No doubt about it. She started sleeping down there. It's kind of weird. Now, Mr. Milton and Jen hated each other. Like they would fight. Poor Jen. I mean, she's got diabetes. 1% of dogs.
She was the one that was going to go first. I mean, we all did.
Soon. She's got diabetes. Like we can't keep weight on her. She pees and poops all the time. I mean, she's a mess, and she's blind for the most part. I mean, she's probably about 80% blind right now. So, but she's fine. I mean, she goes out, she does her thing, she eats and she now is fighting with Max. Like they got into it the other day. Like blood was drawn, which is the first time that's ever happened.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it's all over food, but it's just very. When they would eat, the eating scenario is very odd. I explained this one time, and Milt kind of ate on, you call it a mountain of Milt over the carpet, and he would regulate. Like if Jen would go, she always tries to eat everybody's food, and she'd go to eat Petunia's food, Milton would tell on her. You hear, "Rawr, rawr, rawr, rawr," start yelling for me to go and stop her. He would tell, he'd rat her out. Max will growl, so she wouldn't go over to Max, who's fine. She's kind of a bully when it comes to food, but she wouldn't mess with Milt. Like they got into it enough times. She knew Milt was like, all right, you're cool. You do you and I'll do me. But Milt would tell her. So it's very interesting dynamic now, but they know now, you could feel it, that they know he's gone. And Tuna's kind of looking around and Henry's kind of
power shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll shift a bit, a couple of times before it settles.
Yeah. The power shift. So,
yeah.
Do I mention this in this episode or not? I think I do. Yeah. I got to mention this. What the fuck is wrong with people? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I stopped at Walgreens to pick up my medicine. For some reason, my body tells me to go to Walgreens every time I go to pick up medicine between 1:30 and 2. I did not know the Walgreens schedule. I don't live at the pharmacy. I don't know that every day Walgreens takes a 30-minute lunch break from 1:30 to 2.
Every one of them.
Yeah, they
Every
do.
single one of them. Did not know that. Okay. I'm not a big pill guy. Sorry.
Wouldn't go to Walgreens anyway.
So I take a picture of the sign of them on break and I make a post. I don't remember exactly what I said.
I saw it. It was funny.
Right. It was tongue in cheek. It was,
Yeah.
I wasn't bashing Walgreens. I wasn't bashing the pharmacy. I made a point of, don't you think that it would have been a good idea to maybe stagger the times for a pharmacy? Like, let's just think somebody needs medicine like right now. They have a question right now. I mean, this is like a almost hospital importance based top of the line stuff that you would want to be open for the every minute that you're open, 9 to 5 or whatever it is. So I said in this post I made, I go, I wonder if somebody at Mr. Walgreens thought that somebody brought the idea. Maybe it's a good idea that, like, hey, you take off 30 minutes for lunch and you stay back behind to fill up prescriptions. And then when you're back, you take lunch. That's all I said. It was kind of a joke, but it makes sense, right? It makes sense. Oh my God.
People got mad about that.
Oh my. So you just saw the half of it. If you followed along on social media, I just posted it on my personal one at Mr. Jason Bailey. You just saw the half of it. So when you post to Instagram, you can make it so it automatically posts the threads, which is like a social media platform that I don't think is taken off. But anyway, it posts. I never check it. I don't check the comments. I didn't even realize that on my Instagram feed, it will tell me when I have a notification from threads. Didn't even realize it. So I see this notification in my Instagram feed. It says, keeps saying another comment. This was the other day. There was over 3,000 comments on this post about the Walgreens pharmacy on my personal threads account.
And they were all bagging on you?
It was a back and forth. Like some people got it, some people didn't, but the pharmacists, like the people that work in the industry, were pissed, really, really upset. Oh, we can't take a 30-minute break. I mean, I'm sure there are a bunch of these kind of snowy, kind of flaky.
Wokey.
But they're like, we can't take a 30-minute break. Don't you understand there has to be a pharmacist on duty every time? I'm like, well, what if you hired 2 pharmacists?
Typically, there's at least 3 or 4 people in any pharmacy you go to.
That's what I thought. And then you go, well, they're not all pharmacists. I get that. I understand that. But usually, who the pharmacist. Every time that I've been into a pharmacy, I've seen 2 of those types of people, that look like they're in charge. Anyway, it was a fucking joke. Like it was literally, I was not being serious. Again, business and personal. It was a observational post. And I mean, even Buddy, our videographer, he got in on it. He was pissed off. I'm like, I mean, he's one of those kind of snowy flake guys, but I'm like, Jesus, dude, fucking relax. It's okay. It was, you can't, I didn't bag on Walgreens. I wasn't bagging on pharmacists. I was suggesting, and this does make sense, like it or not, you fucks, this does make sense to stagger everybody else does that in the workplace.
Does not make sense.
Nobody shuts down. McDonald's doesn't shut down for 30 minutes every day for everybody to have lunch.
Respectfully now, Walgreens shuts down for a half hour. Everybody else shuts down for an hour, and it's always 1 to 2, which means that they are at least staying open through the presumed 12 to 1 lunch hours the rest of us have. But you do need to have at least 2 people there because that phone incessantly rings. You got to have someone filling the prescriptions, and you need someone working the counter as well.
No, wait a minute. No place shuts down for an hour for lunch.
Oh, no, I agree.
No place at all shuts down for an hour. You name me one. You name me a business, a big business, not a
Chinese restaurant.
No, no one can name me a big business that shuts down every day for an hour for lunch. Nobody can do it. Do it. Go ahead. I'm waiting.
I can't.
No,
I can't either. But I understand why they do that all at once.
No,
Because otherwise they'd be shorthanded. They really have three positions.
So say you got 2 techs and 1 pharmacist. Only 1 pharmacist, right? Okay, no big deal. So you get there, and one of the techs comes to the window. Hey, how can I help you? I need to get this prescription filled. Our pharmacist is going to be back in a half an hour, but I'll make sure and put this in. You can come back. So at least you've had a conversation. They didn't shut that down.
Yeah.
You can have a conversation with the tech. You don't have to have a conversation with a piece of paper on the window.
And what about the phone and all those dumb questions and the doctors and the faxes coming? I mean, I get it. I understand what you're saying. They can certainly stagger it, but that's the opposition's conversation. And how many times I've stood at the counter waiting while someone's on a phone or.
Well, the opposition can suck it here, Fox.
Yeah, right. By the way, Walgreens, too expensive. You should have gone to like Walmart or.
Okay. Well, that's right. So here's the thing is, Ben, you're right. You could leave somebody that doesn't have to fill the prescription just to, I believe they can still hand out the prescription.
Customer service. It's all.
Yeah, they can. I've seen them borrow them from register people, cashiers, to bring them over when they've been shorthanded.
But oh my God, if you get a chance, really just like there's some on the Facebook and some on the Instagram and they're good too. But this Threads thing, like I didn't even go through it all. I mean, it was over 3,000 comments and I'm not even active on there. I guess I am because I post everything that I post on my personal Instagram account goes to this Threads account, but I never check it. So I don't know who's following me. I don't know, does all these things, but people were so upset. It was so funny to see these comments. And I'm like, these are those people. These are those people that love to get in the Facebook social media arguments, and they have time to do that. Oh my God. These are the people that get upset about the politics and, and all this stuff. And I'm not free on 4th of July and all these,
Hey, let me ask you this, Bailey. In the picture that you took of the Walgreens window, was there a reflection of your MAGA hat?
Yeah, but that's the way that that post came out, right? After everybody, that's where everything ends, right or left. It has literally nothing to do with that at all.
Must love Trump.
Right.
Societal observations are funny sometimes, people.
That was good, but I read that's what I just read was one of the tags there when I said that about the guy can't do this all by himself. I mean, it was one of the longer comments on the thread, but geez, yeah, they're just going off on you here about both sides. That's not true.
Yeah, but there are some people that got it. And, then you always get that guy. It's like, oh, look, Karen can't take a joke. And then they come back and it's like, oh, why don't you wear your MAGA hat or something? Where did it come from? This was just an observation. You can't argue that I make sense. Really, you can't argue that I make sense. If you want, look, people, if you want some good reading to kill some time, go to my Threads account. I don't know how you get there and I don't know what my handle is, but I guess I post to it from at Mr. Jason Bailey and look under the Walgreens pharmacy post. I never realized that there is this cult fan base of pharmacists, and pharmacists are so thin fucking skinned that they took offense to a post that was me just making sense. It was a joke, more or less, but just making sense. Nothing to do with Walgreens, nothing to do with pharmacists. It was just an observation, and they have stopped worrying about me and go fill my pill bottle, bitch.
Hashtag pharmacist of Instagram. That's what you shouldn't have put on there. That's why they got all riled up, man.
I mean, just absolutely amazing. But it's good reading. It is good reading.
So far, I'm about like a third of the way into just not even the drop downs, just the starts.
Let's stop reading while we're on air. You can do that when we get off the show. Focus, Fox.
It's like Game of Thrones, right? It's like, I'm almost through Bailey's Threads post. It's 1,500 comments into it. All right, let's get your what the fuck video for this episode. Here we go.
What the fuck?
This one's funny.
I want to let you know, okay, that I do have Tourette syndrome.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
I do. Oh, shit!
Okay, I'm so sorry. I arrived here in St. Louis today.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Don't be so. Oh. You are such a sweet lady.
I just love your heart.
This is
I
the
do.
best Uber ride ever, I think.
Oh, yay! I'm so excited.
Horse!
You're not a horse. Okay.
I might be.
I've always had a really great attitude with Tourette syndrome.
That is
All right, and
amazing.
I just want to help other people have a good attitude too. So that way they can accomplish things that they never thought they were able to accomplish. Like, look at me, I'm an Uber driver traveling nationwide. I'm also a photographer. Click, click, bitch!
Did you get the picture?
Yeah, you know.
Was it my good side?
Yes, it was.
She's got a whole gimmick. It's obviously not real.
No,
Road trip
because
Tourette's.
What's that?
Road trip.
Road trip Tourette's, right? Like my wife has.
Yeah.
Because people with Tourette's don't know what they say.
no, you can't drive a car if you have Tourette's either. Too dangerous.
Okay. Now I don't know that for a fact what I just said, but I'm pretty sure. Well, wait a minute. No, that's not true. Maybe people with Tourette's, do they know what they say or what they do? I don't think they do.
Sometimes. Have you not seen Jenna, the other one, the gal, the young one that has Tourette's, and she's like,
Yes.
Balin.
yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, right. Fuck you. You suck off. Yeah. She's good. But she's for real. She's been on Dr. What's his name and Phil and all that.
Yeah.
That girl's not
lady
real.
that we just watched on the WTF video. She has one where she picked up a dude, and they both have Tourette's. That was a funny bit.
Yeah. I don't know if I believe this woman. I think it's fake.
I don't know if I do or not either, but it's funny.
It's a great bit. It's a fantastic bit.
You're done.
It's that's what you get for trying to be physical. All right, look, thank you so much for listening to the Free Bay episode. Remember, the BPX, the Bailey Podcast Exchange, has 3 different shows 5 days a week. So we give you content 5 days a week, Mondays, and it's all on one feed. So Mondays, I release the Honey, I Raised the Kids podcast, which is about me and my wife becoming empty nesters and what we're doing. We're starting a new business, new chapters in our lives professionally and all that kind of stuff. It's very family related and talk about our kids and all that stuff. People like it. I like it. I love doing it. Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we do the BS, the Bailey Show podcast, which is a lot like my radio show's been over the years. Wednesdays are free episodes. Tuesdays and Thursdays, if you're watching on Spotify, you'll see that it's locked. If you'd like to unlock those episodes and get hundreds of episodes before, thousands of hours of content, plenty of cool guests, so on and so forth, you can do that by going to jasonbailey.com, and there's a subscribe button right there on the homepage. I'd appreciate it very, very much if you would subscribe. That'd help us out and help out what we're trying to accomplish. And then on Fridays, I do a podcast with Brad Stewart, the bassist of the band Saliva, the original bassist of Shinedown, also in Fuel. It's called the Vinyl Road Podcast, where we talk rock and roll, stories from the road, obviously his, life and everything in between. That's a free episode on Friday. So 3 different shows, 5 days a week, one feed, the BPX, Bailey Podcast Exchange. Go to jasonbailey.com, which is in the middle of being revamped because it needs to be updated. And then Saturdays, we're syndicated on 2 different radio stations in the state of Florida. One, WJRR in Orlando from 6 to 9 a.m. And then Planet Radio in Jacksonville, Saturdays from 6 to 9, where it's a condensed version of, for the most part, just the BS that we put to music, which is kind of cool, different way to listen to the content that we put out. If you're not in those listening areas, then you can get it on the iHeartRadio app and you can listen there if you want. Please post to those radio stations social media if you dig the show and just let them know that you like it. I could use any help I could get. Thank you to our sponsors, especially our tighter sponsor, Once Upon a Coconut, onceuponacoconut.com. Best coconut water in the world. Chocolate, love it. Chocolate, love it. Actually, I have blueberry in my guy. Mine aren't cold right now. I've got them. I just got a new shipment in, and they've been sitting in my garage. So I got to put it in a cup.
Mine.
But if you would like to order Once Upon a Coconut water, go to onceuponacoconut.com. But at checkout, use the code BSPodcast10. BSPodcast10. You will not be sorry. I want your feedback on it. So make sure you let me know what you think, because I know I'm going to be right on this, especially when you put that vodka in that chocolate. Now, remember, coconut water is good for you. Google, look at all the advantages that coconut water has for you. One, it hydrates you, which I guarantee you're not hydrated enough. Two, it's got those electrolytes that you need. You know, they say, oh, good sports drink, so much sugar in that. This sugar is good sugar. There's a difference. Good sugar, bad sugar. And use our sponsors. Our sponsors are fantastic. They're great. And if you'd like to become a sponsor, we would love to have you on. Again, just reach out to me, jasonbailey.com. All right, Fox, you got anything before we get out?
Yeah, shout out to the pharmacist, the Walgreens. Way to take a break.
Yeah, go fuck yourselves. Ben.
Yeah, I want updates on this retrograde emancipation you got with that pill.
Ejaculation.
That's what I said.
Yeah, emancipation of the ejaculation. All right, look, thanks for listening. Appreciate the support. I want you to have a great, safe rest of your day. Make sure you like, share, and follow all of our social media. We've got new social media, different ones for different shows on Instagram, at Honey, I Raised the Kids, at Listen to the BS, and at the Vinyl Road Podcast. Make sure you're following all those, especially our YouTube channel, which is growing, which is nice. That's at The Bailey Show. All right, talk to you soon. Hey, bye.
Thanks for listening. Till next time, check out thebaileyshow.com. Make sure you like, share, follow on all socials. I leave you with these parting words.
Never got a pink slip either. You know what I would get? A guy would come around to my desk and say, "Get the fuck out of here!"
What do we want to talk about?
3 different shows, 5 days a week, 1 feed, details, and to subscribe, jasonbailey.com.